It is the first Saturday of a fresh April month and the start of spring. We are privileged to be with you this morning. Spring is more than just a season. It is a verb to mean to rise, leap, move. On this splendid 3rd April in KL Tower, Malaysia, we rise to the occasion of a tailor-made conference for you, light workers with a special interest in our greying society. A concerted effort by Malaysian Research Institute on Aging, UPM, Third Age Media Association, TAMA, Selangor and Kuala Lumpur, with the support of UNFPA Malaysia, the National Coalition on Aging Forums and Meeting deliberates ways to establish a common platform in response to a rapid aging population in a post-pandemic era. Today, we will be live-streamed from KL Tower. With our focus on senior persons, our purpose will be to, number one, highlight the multi-sectoral issues and challenges of aging in a post-pandemic era. Secondly, promote intersectoral cooperation to improve delivery of products and services. And thirdly, establish a common platform for public, private, and civil society partnerships. This is looking to be quite an eventful Saturday. You've had a long week and hard work does not look good on anyone. So let's bring that great smile back on your face with a relaxing Saturday of dialogues amongst friends. That is, if we can see your fabulous smile behind the mask. Yeah, one of the big challenges of COVID-19. As much as we'd like to leave you alone with your own fancies and free will, we want to be confident you are safe and comfortable. That COVID bug is still out there and very active. So, as if life is not complicated enough as it is, here are just a few guidelines we need you to keep an eye on. Wear your face mask at all times and apply hand sanitizers regularly. At least we don't have to worry about bad breath. Maintain social distancing of at least 1 meter. No worries, we're still close at heart. A 3-person medical emergency response team from University Putra Malaysia is on standby. Well, in this case, we don't hope to hear from you. Meals will be pre-packed and may be collected from the assigned stations at lunchtime. Well, this would be almost the best part of the day. For full details, you may refer to Procedure Operasi Standard, SOP, Pengurusan Keselamatan dan Kesihatan di Menara Kuala Lumpur dalam tempoh Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan Bersyarat, PKPB. Well, that is if you like reading and have time on your side. Limited parking is on a first-come, first-served basis. For complimentary parking, avoid using touch and go. Instead, take the parking ticket upon entry at the electronic toll booth. I hope you've done that. And retrieve the parking voucher from the registration table on Mega View floor. You find them at the registration tables just outside. Present your parking ticket and voucher at the payment booth and exit scot-free. So KL Tower has a heart for you today. You've got free parking. Wi-Fi is provided at the event hall. Yes, we know how important it is for you to stay connected. The surau and the washrooms are located along the corridor. Please observe the signage. Don't get in the wrong room. We're not responsible for that. Persons with special needs may approach the Secretariat. This group of VIPs, we definitely make time and room for. Thank you, MAB, for coming here and joining us today. And last but most essential, to be COVID-19 free, make sure you free your mind from woes and engage in the conference today for a full dose of endorphins and healthy outlook. Now that we've got house rules in place, we warmly invite you to visit the exhibition booths set up just for you on both sides of the room if you haven't done that already. So we do recommend that you go with not more than 10 people at a go due to the SOPs that we're practicing. But yes, please do visit because everything that we've set up for you, from investment arms to real estate, each brand and partner serves your cause. And we encourage you to stop by to inquire, to explore how the range of services may aid your work. This platform was set up just for you, so be sure to grab your market share and build harmonious bridges that integrate efforts in support of healthy aging. Our conference begins in about 3 to 5 minutes from now. Hence, we humbly request that you be in your seats by 9:30. Our invited guests and speakers are looking forward to interact with you. We'll see you in a bit and wish you an auspicious day of new discoveries, fresh insights that help you rise, leap, and move forward towards your best. Enjoy the day.
Can we have the...
Once in every lifetime, tomorrow, why wait until tomorrow, 'cause tomorrow
This is a very interesting start because the music is the young ones and we are all young.
there's a song
Can I have the music louder a little bit?
and the
Let us all wake up.
best is to sing while we're young. Once in every lifetime comes a love like this. Oh, I need you, you need me. Oh, my darling, can't you see our dreams should be dreamed together? And a young heart shouldn't be afraid. And some
Alright, selamat pagi. Kita ada bersama kita warga daripada Kementerian Kesihatan, pengamal perubatan dan all of us. We are all frontliners. So it is appropriate that we give ourselves a big round of applause. We may be a small crowd, but we show them that we are big noise makers. Sudah setahun kita berjuang. COVID masih belum ditangani. Barisan Hadapan kekal berjuang. Hikmatmu, jasamu kita hargai. Terima kasih. In 1990, we had 1 million people over 60 years old. 30 years later, in 2020, we had 3 million people. To put in perspective, during that same period, our total population was 18.5 million, and it went to 33 million last year, an increase of 200% in terms of senior citizens. But total population, 78% only. So yes, we are fast becoming an aging society. Despite over 70 ministers and deputy ministers, we do not have a specific ministry looking after affairs of the aging community. It is being looked after by the Ministry of Women's Affairs. Now, at the launch of My Aging, the building, the then minister, Wan Aziza, promised that in 2 years' time, they will start looking at policies for the aging community and to prepare us to be an aging society. Of course, the new government came in. Despite the closed doors, closed front doors, and the windows, that promise by Kak Wan was thrown out of the window, thrown out of the house. The new minister, I do not know her stand on aging issues, but I read from the news that she is busy, looking slimmer, looking prettier, and looking younger, and she's doing very well. Therefore, it is left to us, the community, the aging community, to be proactive and to move forward. But we cannot move far. We cannot go far without the support and the partnership of the civil society organizations. Therefore, congratulations to the organizers. This topic of discussion for this conference is appropriate and it is timely. Dari Menara Kuala Lumpur, Dewan Banquet. Third Age Media Association dengan kerjasama Universiti Putra Malaysia dan dengan sokongan daripada UNFPA, United Nations Population Fund, membawakan persidangan yang berjudul Capacity Building for the Civil Society Organizations on Aging, Improving Value, Impact, and Sustainability for the Third Sector in the Pandemic Age. Very, very appropriate. Yang berusaha, Dr. Kabir Wira Sahib, Associate Professor, Siti Anum, dan Mr. Chia Tak Wing, President Third Age Media Association. Thank you for being here with us this morning. Kita sudah sampai menara. Singgah tadi di Kampung Selamat. Assalamualaikum. Pembuka bicara. Semoga majlis dipenuhi rahmat. Amin. Majlis diteruskan dengan kata-kata aluan daripada Presiden Third Age Media Association yang berusaha saudara Chia Tak Wing. Can I have the video, please?
Okay, a very good morning to all of you. Yang Berusaha Dr. Kabir Wira Sahib, Director of Family Health Development Division, Ministry of Health, and Guest of Honor. Professor Mahir, Engineer Dr. Siti Anum Ahmad, Event Advisor and Director, My Aging. International Partner, United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. Official sponsors, distinguished panelists and moderators, representatives of the civil society organization in aging, Datuk, members of the press, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. So good morning. A warm welcome to you to our National Coalition on Aging Forums and Meetings 2021. Firstly, I would like to thank God that we finally managed to get this event off the ground. When we first mooted the idea of having this event early last year, the number of COVID-19 cases was only in single digits. We had to defer the program many times, especially after the third COVID-19 wave in September last year. Malaysia saw a certain surge in cases after the Sabah election. So we really want to praise God that the number of cases are now finally under control to a certain extent. Even the daily COVID-19 cases finally dipped to below the 1,000 mark for the first time in many months, especially on March 29 this year. So this event is a very important milestone for civil society organizations. As for the first time, we have gathered a good number of voluntary organizations together to share their experience and learn from each other. The civil society sector play a very important role, especially those in the developing countries. And they must learn to sustain themselves in the future while serving societies and democracy better. The world population is aging. By 2050, 1 in 5 people will be aged 60 and over. Due to longer life expectancy and a decline in fertility, older people already outnumbered children under 5. By 2050, they will outnumber those under 15. Much of this growth is taking place in developing countries, where the structure and policies do not exist to support a life of dignity and inclusion in older age. Now, living longer is a triumph of development. It is changing the way we view our lives and the possibility of what we can be able to achieve in life are expanding. For some of us, the accumulation of wealth over time, contribution to pension schemes, and ever-improving healthcare means we are healthier and wealthier than ever in our older age. However, we live in an increasing unequal world, and as we live longer, inequalities deepen. For millions of people, the impact of years of poverty, inadequate access to healthcare, poor nutrition, and limited education accumulate with devastating impact in older age. In low and middle income countries, just 1 in 4 people above the pensionable age receive a pension. So retirement is a luxury for the very few. The civil society organizations, or CSO, have always been at the forefront of the fight for equality and inclusion. Whether focused on gender equality, disability, or ethnic minorities, civil society activists have stood up for the rights of the people neglected or discriminated against by society and governments, and tirelessly promoted the rights and inclusion of the most marginalized. However, there is still a long way to go with regards to aging and older people. We need the support of civil society to acknowledge and embrace the fact that that we live in a world with a rapidly growing older population, and to tackle ageism, arguably the last unrecognized, widespread, identity-based form of discrimination. We are now starting to see some recognition and positive change. The engagement of civil society in the negotiation of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, highlighted the importance of leaving no one behind, regardless of, for example, age, gender, disability, ethnicity, religion, location, and social and economic status. Age is now included in the 17 SDGs and their targets. While these high-level commitments have not yet had time to translate into meaningful change on the ground, we are already seeing positive signs that change is coming, and older people will have greater inclusion in organized civil society. So to conclude, for one to live long and healthy life, we need a place where functional ability is fostered across the life course, and where older people experience equal rights and opportunities and can live lives free from age-based discrimination. Now, to achieve this, the following objectives must be set. Number 1, commitment to action on healthy aging. Number 2, develop age-friendly environments. Number 3, aligning health systems to the needs of the older populations. And number 4, developing sustainable and equitable systems for providing long-term care, be it at home, communities, or institutions. And lastly, improving measurement, monitoring, and research on healthy aging. Now, policymakers need to respond to population aging. A priority has to be age-inclusive development and humanitarian planning, policies and programs supporting older people's health and economic, social, and political empowerment. So to this end, I would like to express my gratitude to our guest of honor, Yang Berusaha, Dr. Keber Wersahib, for his precious time to grace and officiate this forum. I would humbly like to call upon Dr. Keber to use his good office in the Ministry of Health to publicize and highlight the needs of seniors and to make Malaysia their first choice when they retire. I'd like to thank our partners, My Aging, University Putra Malaysia, and the United Nations Population Fund, or UMFPA, for driving this initiative in bringing this diverse group of public, private, and civil society on aging together. My appreciation goes out also to our moderators and panelists for sharing their expertise in today's forum. I also wish to thank all our event sponsors, Kenanga Investors, Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Sun Siu Hong. She's represented by his daughter, Jin Song, right? Tan Sri Song is actually our advisor for Third Age Media, and he's 96 years old. He really wants to come today. You can check with the daughter, wanting to come together, but unfortunately because of his age and so we advise him not to, right? So we thank him for contributing also to this event. So we also thank Suntrack Development, okay, Mr. James, right? GM Klang, Mr. Fu, right? And Nomura Asset Management, Ms. Regina, right? And O'Brien's, Mr. Brian Pua, right? Yep. And Nestle Nutron and Omega Plus, Ms. Lam, right? Yeah, Lam Puyi, yeah. And of course, finally, Boo Bell, Ms. Ruby. Thank you. So we thank them for their support and generous contribution. Now, finally, to my fellow organizing committee team members, volunteers, and not forgetting our media friends. All right, thank you for their hard work and dedication in making this event a success. So without them, this event would not be possible. So last but not least, a big thank you to all the delegates here, both physically and virtually, especially for some of you who have traveled a great distance. I remember seeing Mr. Samuel Ng, the president for Parkinson's disease, Perak. Can you please stand up, you don't mind? All right, he traveled all the way from Ipoh today. You know, I mean, when we first had our conference in 2018 where Tun Mahathir came, I remember him coming, and even when we launched our magazine in 2017 February, he took a train from Ipoh all the way. I'm repeating the same thing where I mentioned in February 2017. No? He came all the way taking a train, although he suffered from the same disease, Parkinson. And we are really, really grateful to him, no? Despite his condition. Thank you. So we are humble, finally. We are humble and truly honored, right? So all praise and glory to God, right? We must always remember God for his blessings, right? So thank you and enjoy the forum.
Terima kasih, Saudara Chia. That was quite an informative welcome speech. Yeah? Just a reminder, we are live streamed. So if you are wearing your mask, and I hope you are wearing your mask, please wear it properly. Cover your nose, cover your mouth. Yeah, and you don't want it to be on live stream and then somebody viral it, Susahlah pula nanti. Ada pengarah daripada Kementerian Kesihatan bersama kita. Ya. Okay. Mr. Chia mentioned a 96-year-old gentleman just now, Tan Sri Sung. There is another very famous Malaysian, also 96 years old. Anybody can guess who that is? Yes, Tun Mahathir. And he is the patron of the Third Age Media Association. And now we have video remarks from him. Can I have the video, please?
Datuk Sri Azman Ujang, event patron, Professor Madya, Engineer Dr. Siti Anum Ahmad, event advisor and director, Malaysia Research Institute on Aging, My Aging, Mr. Chia Tak Wing, organizing chairman and president of Third Age Media Association of Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, international partner, United Nations Population Fund, UNFA, official sponsors, distinguished guests, representatives of the civil society organizations on aging, Assalamu alaikum, and a warm welcome to everyone. It is indeed an honor as the patron of the Third Age Media Association, or TAMA, to be able to share some thoughts on aging with everyone present. I wish I could be physically present, but under the circumstances, there are many things that we wish for and could pursue in the past are no more possible, at least for the time being. It is the new normal, a catchphrase for us to embrace the changes forced upon us by the pandemic. But for many of us, none of these feels normal at all. Ladies and gentlemen, nevertheless, we have to make the best of everything, no matter what the situation is. I'm glad that we have the opportunity to get together and discuss the topic of improving value, impact and sustainability of the voluntary sector in the pandemic age. It is part of the global effort to address age and aging during the COVID-19 pandemic. It should also provide us a great opportunity to address the broad challenges of population aging through capacity building and provide the voluntary sector with tools that can help sustain their mission and deliver beneficial social impact over time. I am sure the collaboration between TAMA and the Malaysian Research Institute on Aging, or My Aging, University Putra, Malaysia, will contribute much towards this end. Ladies and gentlemen, statistics have shown that the Malaysian population is aging rapidly. Between 1990 and 2020, the number of older people aged 60 and above increased 210% from 1.05 million to 3.26 million. Between 2020 and 2044, the demographic structure of Malaysia will change from an aging to an aged population, when the proportion of people aged 65 and above doubles from 7% to 14%. They bear testimony to the fact that people are living longer and enjoy healthier lives. While we revel in this time of humanity, it is not a celebration when it occurs at a time when the structures and policies are not fully developed to support a life of dignity and inclusion in old age. These trends of falling birth rates and increasing life expectancy brings a number of challenges and uncertainties in several policies areas with regard to the employment and productive work, healthy aging, and the healthcare system to deal with the problems brought on by aging. Ladies and gentlemen, given these concerns, civil societies have a distinct and pivotal role in amplifying voices and promoting dialogue and advocacy for older people. They should take up the role in lobbying for changes in policy, initiate grassroots movement for on-the-ground experience, know-how, perspectives, and service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, all these efforts should aim at creating an inclusive society for all ages, one which will give voice and listen to older people who will be at the center of the demographic transformation. It is also an awareness program that reminds everyone that they who are young will grow old, and those who are old were once young. I would like to extend my appreciation to those present here today for participating in this workshop. It is my fervent hope that at the conclusion, we will come out of it the wiser and better prepared to take up the challenges we had identified earlier. Thank you.
Terima kasih. During this pandemic, under the movement control, MCs have an additional task of constantly reminding people about your safety. Now, remember, wear your mask properly. Kita sudah sampai ke menara. Ada O'Brien, mana O'Brien? Ada O'Brien, ada kopi. Ada kopi, ada roti. Tibalah masa yang dinanti-nanti. Majlis sedia untuk dirasmi. Bermula sudah program vaksinasi. Rakyat bersama menjaga kesihatan. Lindung diri, keluarga dilindungi. Tuan Pengarah, anda dijemput memberi ucapan. Your mic has been sanitized and so has the rostrum.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, Professor Madya Engineer Dr. Siti Anom Ahmad, Event Advisor and Director, Malaysia Research Institute of Aging, My Aging. Mr. Chia Tak Wing, Co-Chairman and President of Third Age Media Association of Kuala Lumpur and Selangor. International Partner, United Nations Population Fund, UNFA, official sponsors, distinguished speakers, representative of the civil society organization in aging, yang berbahagia datuk-datuk, datin-datin, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum, good morning and a warm welcome to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to officiate this National Coalition of Aging Forum and meetings. It is a pleasure to be here this morning for this intellectual discourse. Ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia categorized older person as those aged 60 years and above, although Yang Tun mentioned about 65. But as for Malaysia, we take 60 and above as older persons. Following a United Nations World Assembly on Aging held in Vienna in 1982. With this usage of this categorization, the proportion of older persons in Malaysia was 8%, or 2.3 million person in 2010. It rose to 3.6 million or 10.7% of the 33.3 million population in 2020, and it is projected by the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, that by the year 2030, the older person in Malaysia will be more than 15%. With the current rapid demographic transition, Malaysia will be an aged society by 2030 and shorter span of time as opposed to other more developed countries. Ladies and gentlemen, it is inevitable that a nation will face the ever-evolving public health challenges, and Malaysia is not spared either. Among the major issues are the aging population and the increasing burden of non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. At the same time, the emerging infectious diseases will continue to challenge the health system worldwide, including Malaysia. This COVID-19 pandemic has confronted Malaysia's health system to be more resilient, to adapt and create a new norm as a way of life. COVID-19 pandemic therefore represent opportunities for health system transformation, an avenue for tremendous growth, horizon broadening, and achieving an unthinkable such as virtual clinic, which already conducted since 2020. Therefore, I'm glad that the theme of this event is intersectoral action for UN Decade for Healthy Aging, that highlight the need for cooperation in the new normal. Elderly people are also susceptible to COVID-19 infection, and as anyone else. However, according to the report in Policy Brief, the impact of COVID-19 on older persons by United Nations, it reported that the elderly has a higher risk of having serious illness, complication, and death following the COVID-19 infection. Those over the age of 80 years died at a rate of 5 times compared to the average population. Our own experience in Malaysia, as of 31st March 2021, a total of 882 elderly died, or 70% of those who died are elderly person above 80 and above, of 1,272 deaths as a result of COVID-19. There is no denying that the elderly have a much higher risk of death, and the disease condition will be worse due to the COVID-19 infection. Malaysia is guided by the National Policy for Older Persons implemented via the Plan of Action for Older Persons under the purview of Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development. In 2008, Ministry of Health in concordance had formulated a National Plan of Action for Health Care for Older Persons. This policy highlights the need for more effective, coordinated, and comprehensive plan of action that covers social, economic, and health aspects of the elderly that require strong commitments and collaboration from multi-agencies, including the civil society organizations. It is widely recognized that an active and vibrant civil society organization, or CSOs, is an important factor in advocating for policy changes related to elderly. We need policy to allow society to support the elderly in their community. This could be done through CSO. By mediating between the government or policymaker and citizenry, CSO provide the mechanism to enhance citizen voice and the engagement of citizens to various programs and activities that contribute to betterment of services for elderly. Ladies and gentlemen, civil society and non-government organizations in Malaysia have often had to fill the gap when the government institution comes out short. In recent years, their voice reached the ability to mobilize funds, and people undeniably become stronger. This can be seen in their responses to major disasters, such as the Kelantan flood of 2014, and the Pasir Gudang pollution event of 2019. In 2020, as the country reeled from an unexpected change in government, the simultaneous arrival of COVID-19 and declaration of global pandemic pushed the country to the brink. During this ongoing pandemic, one of the effects is the exponential surge in people, especially the poor elderly, facing food insecurity. CSO and volunteers remain on the front line in providing food for those in need and affected communities. CSO has an important role to play in ensuring healthcare, shelter, volunteer services, and other essentials reach their destination in timely manner during this pandemic. We can achieve victory much more with a better understanding of all public health measures and adopting them well while educating the public. All these measures should be taken up by all, including CSOs and all our stakeholders in the private sector, including social enterprises. Additionally, many CSOs have been assisting vulnerable families in terms of safeguarding mental health, protecting against violence and domestic abuse, and delivering essential social services. For example, Mercy Malaysia has been providing important mental health services to elderly and their caregivers during this current pandemic. Among their initiatives are a hotline that family can call for support, advice, and get information if they are unsafe in their home or who to contact for help. Other than that, Third Age Media Association also published quarterly lifestyle magazine called The Seniors, whereby dissemination of information related to elderly and pandemic COVID-19 are available online. A research that was done in April 2020 by Yusof Ishak Institute revealed that a total of 1.5 million collected by CSO and disbursed, benefiting at least 52,000 individuals or households within this MCO period. This illustrates the ability of NGOs and CSOs to raise funds and reach those in the dire need due to their flexibility and experience with these communities. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about the theme of this event, intersectoral action for the UN Decade of Healthy Aging, while CSOs are expected to perform this varied function, they also at the same time facing a range of capacity constraints and challenges. The challenges vary from organization to organizations. These include constraints relating to the overall external environment within which this civil society operates, specific internal organizational capacity deficit that affect their ability to perform effectively and efficiently, and during this pandemic, they face lack of financial resources and stability for funding their programs and projects. A survey by Hasana Group found that 82% of CSO were most affected by financial difficulty during this current MCO and post-MCO. The capacity building for civil society organization on aging, series of online workshops organized by the Malaysia Research Institute for Aging in UPM has responded to this issue by providing platform to CSO in exchanging and sharing their best practices in managing the obstacles and challenges for sustainability. Returning back to the theme of this forum and meeting, government, private actors and CSO need to remain vigilant during and post-pandemic recovery to address the problem and play a bigger role in more technical decision-making arenas. We believe CSOs are able to contribute to policy making and are innovative thinkers, able to devise solutions for global challenges. But we need to work with market forces and go beyond welfare-centric approach. For that reason, government need to rethink and broaden the current understanding of frontliners to also include CSO that provide on-ground support. CSOs, including researchers and think tanks, can take to meet these unanticipated socio-economic challenges, protect public health, and effectively assist those vulnerable communities most affected by this pandemic. We all have the opportunity and responsibility to play a major role in preparedness, responses, impact mitigation, and advocacy in this current pandemic. And this role should be recognized and magnified further. In order to better deal with national crisis and pandemic in future, there is a need for better coordination between government, businesses, and the CSO to tap their agility and understanding of myriad improvised or at-risk communities and broad network on the ground. This can be done by, one, creating a workable mechanism and platform for government, private sector, and CSO to discuss, provide feedback, and share ideas. Number two, work closely and involve the communities in project planning and implementation. Number three, empower CSOs to work effectively and improve their abilities to be a policy partner through capacity building initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I would like to urge everybody to pledge that we, as Malaysians, especially in this current pandemic situation, need to act and help each other, abide with instruction given by the authorities, apply the relevant established SOPs, and always practice new norm in our daily life. Last but not least, I wish to congratulate Third Age Media Association and Malaysian Research Institute of Aging, UPM, for successfully organizing this event. I wish all speakers, facilitators, and participants a delightful and enjoyable experience and after forum and meeting. On that note, it gives me great pleasure in officially launching this National Coalition on Aging Forum and Meeting 2021. Together we shall break off the COVID-19 chain. Lindung diri, lindung semua. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. If you would remain on stage, and can I also invite Mr. Chia Tak Wing to come on stage? We will have the presentation of certificates of appreciation. But before my co-MC announces the names, just a little bit of housekeeping for the recipients. You will come up on stage one at a time. You will announce your name. You will receive your certificate from the guest of honor. You will be standing on the left of Mr. Chia. No shaking hands, if you don't mind. Whatever else you want to do, but not even the fister. Now, with the permission from our guest of honor, we will take 2 photographs. One with a mask on, and then one without your mask. Ideally, if you are going to post it on the Facebook and all that, post the one with the face mask now. Yeah? Help us, because he's the director of the Ministry of Health. Anything the viral, he will suffer. Right? Agree, yeah, Doctor? Yes. Okay, Philomena, over to you. You don't have to live with this apek. I've got a pretty co-MC.
The other way. We love Peter Chong.
Thank you.
We thank our platinum sponsor, Kenanga Investors, who are without representation today. We have Datuk Muslim Ayub, Tama's Deputy President, and the editor of Senior Magazine, who will receive the appreciation on behalf. We are grateful to Kenanga Investors for consistent support, both past and present.
Right, one with a mask. And if you're comfortable, you may remove. Make sure you keep smiling. Huh?
Our gold sponsors, Ms. Regina Rahim, CEO of Nomura Asset Management Malaysia Sendirian Berhad. Thank you.
Further in front, please. Regina, further in front.
Mr. James K.K. Tan, CEO of Suntrack Development Sendirian Berhad.
Ho-
Thank you, Mr. James. Mr. Fu Lok Peng, CEO of GM Clang. 谢谢你. GM Clang has been an avid supporter for the last few years as well. We are very grateful, without whom all of this would not be possible. Thank you. Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Sung Siu Hong, Tama's advisor and co-founder, is unable to attend today. We have his daughter, Miss Jean Sung, who represents our exemplary 96-year young leader who remains active in the corporate sector and in community work. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Tan Sri. Ms. Lam Hui Yi from Nestle, who has kindly sponsored 2 dairy and nutrition brands, Nestle Omega Plus and Nestle Nutrin. Mr. Brian Pua, General Manager of O'Brien's Irish Sandwich Cafe. This morning's lovely sandwiches were sponsored by O'Brien's. We have them to thank for our wholesome meal. Again, they have been strong supporters year on year. Thank you. And Ms. Ruby Sia, founder and CEO of Bobel. Bobel is a skincare and beauty product and service. Thank you, Ruby, for all your contributions.
She is deliberately having a longer time to take out her mask because her mask is the most beautiful one here, Malaysian batik. All right,
Thank you.
Dr. Kabir and Mr. Chia, please remain on stage as I invite Associate President, Associate Professor president of My Aging, to please come on stage to present the token of appreciation to our guest of honor. So jadi guest of honor bukannya senang ya, under this new normal extra work ya. Anyway, help me, give a big round of applause to our guest of honor. The guest of honor will now leave for work at the ministry. So the rest of us, I've got good news for you. Breakfast is to be served. However, it's a packed breakfast at that corner over there. If you can see me, it's on my right. I seek your cooperation. Go table by table, follow the instructions of the ushers, and collect it, and you may eat at your tables. VIP tables, I believe, is going to be served. Right? So, in the meantime, we allow our friends from the Malaysian Association of the Blind to prepare themselves for a performance, a musical performance.